And then Seattle going ahead and adding a burner to an offense that is featuring, I was saying yesterday, Albert, your guy, JSN, he's threatening a 2,000-yard receiving season. That's how amazing he has been. And Darnold looks even better than he did in Minnesota. Like he really has stepped it up. Seattle's no joke. And they just added a big piece, I think, a deep threat like that.
It's such a great, well, there are a couple things here. I mean, first of all, it's such a great lesson about giving up on a quarterback, right? How a lot of times how tied to circumstances the development of a quarterback is, right? Like there are very few quarterbacks that can overcome train wreck circumstances. And a lot of them wind up learning and growing from them. And obviously Sam's an example of it. Baker's an example of it. Daniel Jones is now becoming an example of it. Geno was an example of it. So there's that. I think the other thing is that's interesting about this is like what this was fueled by, which to me is what would give the Jets fans hope in their approach now is like what fueled the Seahawks, retooling was the Russell Wilson trade and how they turned those picks into players, whether you're talking about Charles Cross or JSN or Devin Witherspoon, the guys that they were able to hit on after they made that trade, all the capital that came in, and it's not all one for one, but the amount of capital that they had, and then having like a couple of huge drafts where you had monster pieces coming in and then complementary pieces coming in down the line, that allows you to do something like this. And what I love about the Shaheed move is like you could explain it to a 5-year-old. You know what I mean? Like it's like okay, you have like kind of like the do-it-all weapon in JSN, right? You've got the possession receiver in Cooper Kupp, and here comes the burner who's going to complement them, right? Like we could explain that to our kids pretty easily, and they would get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like it's such a logical move, and sometimes you want to be playing checkers and not chess. And I think John Schneider was playing checkers on this one. It was like, that just makes too much sense not to add to what's a really great core of players that we've been able to build here.
Yeah, man. I mean, although I don't know if you saw the video of that dad telling his son that his favorite player in sauce has been traded. You got to be careful explaining things to a 5-year-old these days. I don't know if you saw that video. It's pretty wild.
I need to check that out. I have not seen that.
We'll send it to you.
Okay.
So in the remaining minutes I have with you, who's blown up your phone about this team not making a deal or that team making a deal or not liking it? Like what is the chitter chatter amongst all those that you speak with or reach out to you saying about the Tuesday trade deadline?
I think there's a lot of curiosity on the Cowboys and kind of like how this all plays out. And what this winds up looking like, for them, where you have two trades that almost correspond with each other. And like, I actually look at this and say, like, the Cowboys came out. I mean, to me, they got a year and a half older, right? Quinnen for Micah. We can argue like what the gap is between Micah and Quinnen, but they're both great players. You get like about $20 million per year in flexibility that you didn't have if you're Dallas. You move a second-round pick up into the first round this year, and you trade like Mozzie Smith, who had fallen into disrepair for them, for Kenny Clark, who's a really valuable piece of their defensive front now. So like that's one thing. Like looking at what Dallas did, I think is interesting. As far as like anybody being a little befuddled by inaction or I don't know. I mean, like I would say. Like the Eagles obviously were active as always. Like the one thing that kind of like, jumped out at me a little bit was like, like the NFC North teams were relatively quiet.
Yeah.
Now I say that with the caveat that the Packers made a monster move before the season.
Yes, they did.
But, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
they already moved that chess piece around.
Right.
Sure.
So you can't it's hard to criticize them for not doing a lot at the deadline when they brought in Micah freaking Parsons in August.
Exactly. Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.